All right, so Clev or Star had this great idea about talking about politics and voting our agenda. And I was just kind of blown away, said, hey, we need to get back on the horn, do this podcast. And so I'm honored to have all of you on here. Speaking of honored, Star called me an honorary woman. I'm still getting over that.
You know you liked it. Everybody liked it.
Still don't know how to take that. So look, Star, why were you so passionate about discussing voting and our agenda?
Well, first of all, because my life is dedicated to the empowerment of our community. And I feel like we get this whole political thing wrong in a lot of ways. We do politics based off of feelings. We do politics based off of, we don't have realistic expectations with this, and we go into the political arena without an agenda, without a strategy. We do not weaponize the power that we have politically. We believe in people who have constantly shown us that they mean us no good. And if there's to be any real change, systemic change in our communities through politics, then we have to, we got to do better at this. Like, at what point do you stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe? At what point, they say same behavior, same results. And it's like, I'm seeing people begin to, realize this, but more people need to realize this. And I would love for us to begin to do things about this. Because I just get frustrated with some of the conversations that maybe not so much in my circle, but just things that I hear people saying when you're watching TV, when you overhear certain circles, and, Biden was Obama's vice president. And it's like all these strange reasons that people have that they're going to vote for someone, and they're getting nothing in return.
Wow, you said we fall for the banana in the tailpipe. That sounds like something you would say, Crumb.
Absolutely. She speaks very well, very impressed. And I can tell this is going to be great. I agree with everything she's saying, but I'm probably going to come from a completely different angle with it. I guess where I stand on voting, at this particular time, I'm going to go with the master teachers. And not only did Umar Johnson say, you know what, we probably shouldn't be voting right now, but Claude Anderson also said this as well. The very root of this political system is based off capitalism, which is a team sport. And until we can come together and operate homogeneously, we have no need to vote.
We have no need to vote?
Correct.
And I'm really kind of moving towards, I haven't gotten there yet totally, but I'm moving towards saying, if you don't support my agenda, I'm just not voting for you. I'm just not voting for you. So I might end up skipping the presidential part of the ballot and vote for the state and vote for the city parts. I might vote, I'm not committing to that right now, because I'm not seeing any of the Democrat, and I definitely don't see any of the Republican candidates saying that we're going to do some things that are going to truly impact the people that you care for, the things that are part of your agenda. So how does that fit in? Is that, am I falling for the banana in the tailpipe? I don't know.
Well, I want to say this. I believe that part of the problem is in our community, a lot of people are impassioned or indoctrinated about voting, like the vote itself, rather than thinking about the outcomes and the desired results. We're so, it's hammered into our head, vote, and then you vote and that's good enough, and you're not thinking about why you're voting or what it is that you are trying to accomplish. It's just, I have to vote, we have to vote, we go and vote, and we wear the little sticker, and it's like, I voted. And I think that's passion, emotion, somewhat indoctrination, and I think that voting recklessly is just as dangerous as not voting. If we're not strategic with it, then the fear that you just kind of had, or the pause that you had when he mentioned not voting, if we're not going to be strategic with it, then it's not really I mean, what's the difference? Like, if this is something, because first of all, and then when people use that argument, well, our elders, our ancestors, died for the right for us to be able to vote. They fought and died for us to be able to live our lives a certain way. And they felt that voting was the means in which they could accomplish that. And so, again, we get caught up just on the vote. I'm not necessarily saying don't vote. And I feel like what Shay said, anybody who has been aware of our struggle for a long time, you've gone through a lot of different thought processes probably. You probably examined things, you've been on this side of it, that side of it, maybe with the same goal, but you've looked, and I've had my times where, at one point it would have been crazy to say don't vote. And then I've been like, nah, don't vote. And then, kind of like where you're saying local elections and everything. But I just feel like, yeah, if we're not going to use it strategically, just saying that you voted is nothing. Like, don't pop your collar. Like, it's nothing. If it's not strategic, and if we're not focused on specific outcomes for our community, if we are not willing to get down and dirty and, all of these different things, politics is a game, it's an exchange, it's all of these different things. And if we're not willing to do that, like, just don't pop your collar. It's going to be cyclical, the same old same.
Yeah, I know you got something to say, Crumb, but I wanted to say, I've had people say for years, your ancestors gave up their lives for you to have the right, R-I-G-H-T, to vote. And now that we have the right to vote, we need to move from just having the right to being empowered with our vote. And I believe it's a 4-step process. First, you get the right to vote, then you vote your heart, and then you become a seasoned, a mature voter, a person who's mature and politically conscious. And then you start voting as a block because you're moving for the greater good. And then you go to the next level, which means you can withhold your vote until you're on the candidate's agenda. So if you're not supporting us, we ain't rocking with you. That's maturity, that's power. The first part, when you get the right to vote, that's the first level. And I think a lot of us are stuck on the first level because we really don't pay attention to politics. We don't know what the politicians are saying. Crumb, you just went in on gay reparations. Most of us didn't even realize that just passed. I definitely want to talk. Yeah, Shay's like, huh? Yeah. So I think that we need to become more politically conscious. And once we're politically conscious, we can understand that we may simply be on level 1 and we need to move up to level 4.
Yeah, I don't know where to start. There's just so many points. I guess I'll start here. Voting is a form of integration. We've had our best times when we segregated. I'll say that. Number 2, when, in terms of voting is integration, vote is short for vote of confidence. When you vote for this government, you tell them that you have confidence that they can govern your mental, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. Joseph Stalin said, it is enough that the people know there was an election. The people who cast the votes decide nothing. The people who count the votes decide everything. You literally do not have a count. If you ask 9 out of 10 Negroes, they can't tell you anything of significance about the Electoral College. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was not voted in office. He was selected, not elected. Everybody knows this except for us. The number 1 demographic of non-voters are the Asians. Why do the Asians care not to vote? Because they are masters of their own destiny. If I could chime in there, speaking of 400 some years, there's no such thing as a Democrat. There's no such thing as a Republican. These things switch every 50 years because we're not paying attention. The Democrats used to be Republicans, and the Republicans used to be the Whigamores. The Democrats were the racist people on earth. They were the ones the Democrats have done nothing to support us. Because initially they were the Dixiecrats, and they didn't even become that until after Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a registered Republican because it was the Republicans from 1865 who've been supporting us. But we don't pay attention to anything. Oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. Okay, so in 50 years, the Democrats will be the Republicans. It's a game. And just like the sis was saying, stupid is as stupid it does. They've made us look stupid, and Trump is the epitome of that. If anybody still has faith in this kangaroo court after Trump has showed us that this whole thing is rigged, then it's like, okay, you deserve anything that happens to you. Let me say this as well. You know, I want to be as candid as possible. F Trump, F Barack, F Bush, F Bill, F Daddy Bush, Reagan, James, Gerald, Richard, Lyndon, John, Dwight, Harry, all of them. All of them, family. There has been no legislation of significance since 1865 that has been in our best interest. And I know what you're going to say. Hey, Crumb, what about the 13th and 14th Amendment? Again, I will go to Dr. Claude Anderson. Those things don't even apply to us anymore. The 14th Amendment is exclusively for Black people. However, we've been the ones who have benefited the least from anything. What we're dealing with is a people who have been manipulated and continue to be manipulated. What we must do is step away. We must get away from integration. We must get away from voting. We must get away from white people. We must step away from these people. Come and get, just like you were saying, she said, we can't say we're like the Asians because the Asians have a culture. Well, we need to step away and get our culture first. We can't say that we're like the Arabs because the Arabs have an economic base. Well, we need to step away and get our economic base. What we are doing is putting the cart before the horse.
1995, just before I went to the march, there was a lot of talk about removing ourselves from the Democrats and the Republicans, and that would provide power. And I tell you one thing, man, when I run into politicians before I ran, and they would say, hey, I'm a Democrat, so I look forward to your vote. And I was like, you ain't got my vote. You need to do something to get my vote. Their conversation with me changed. Now, I'm just one vote. I'm just one sole person. But when I realized that saying, hey, you haven't earned my vote yet, somebody changed their conversation with me. Then they wanted to find out what I was interested in. I think on a collective basis, and it doesn't have to be everybody, because everybody ain't woke. Shay, everybody ain't Christian. Everybody's not politically conscious. Everybody's not everything. But if enough of us are loud enough to say, you haven't earned our vote yet, you need to do these things to earn our vote, and we have 8 minutes left, then we will have the change and we will have the agenda. We need to move now from, like I said earlier, getting the right to vote to become empowered with our ability to vote.
So what are the mechanics?
What are the mechanics?
So how do we get to represent, because we're not a monolith. We have different ideas. We range all sides of the political spectrum. We stand on different stances, but I agree completely. Like even if half of Black America decided, hey, you have to earn our vote together. But how do we get to a point where we are together enough to do that?
Oh,